Alright, first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders that Great Millstone that surely do well. Peace and blessings unto the Akim throughout the four corners of this world that continue to push this word. You know, this is Matanaya, the brother Matanaya from one of the camps of Great Millstone in Trinidad. You know, and this lesson, I'm gonna start this lesson with this precept here, which is Luke 14 and verse 7. It says, "And he put forth a parable to those which were bidden, when he marked how they chose out the chief rooms, saying unto them, When thou art bidden of any man to a wedding, sit not down in the highest room, lest a more honorable man than thou be bidden of him. And he that bade thee and him come and say to thee, Give this man place, and thou begin with shame to take the lowest room. But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee cometh, he may say unto thee, Friend, go up higher. Then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at meat with thee. For whosoever exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted." And the point is in verse 11, but the backstory to it, or what takes place, is in the previous verses, but the main point, or the lesson to the story, or to the parable, is that if you exalt yourself, you're going to be abased, and he that humbleth himself going to be exalted. So, avoid making yourself of more importance than, or thinking of yourself of high importance when you don't really know what the Lord, or what order the Lord have for you. So you may think yourself to be someone of great character, because we all Israelites believe in reincarnation. So we believe that we are the men that were back then with the Lord. We just don't know exactly who were there, and for those that were there, who exactly they are. So it have men that would come up with the illusion, like the two men from I think was where they were, Mississippi, former camp leader and his understudy, that believe that they are David, and I can't remember who the next one is. And then there are some guys even in Trinidad as well, with the belief that, I don't know why they always think that they are David, probably because they know that David gonna rule in the kingdom under Yahushai. But that pride, when you look at our pride and you look at what they are, you see exactly the fruit of our pride. You see exactly why they couldn't make it, because you don't even know if you have the elect. But here you are thinking that you are the head of Israel underneath Yahushai, underneath the Lord himself. And when you look at this guy here, Nathaniel 7, he falls in that same category of being delusional and thinking himself to be someone who he's not. And when you look at how he addresses other camps, how he addresses his camps, his attitude in front of media, how he presents himself, how he exalts himself, the presentation, you would see that he actually believes that he is somebody of high importance. Understand? But somebody of high importance, or somebody of the elect, won't be teaching Jesus Christ. They definitely won't be teaching that the micro-C-hip is Christianity. They won't be teaching that hell is a place under the ground where you're burning forever in fire. You understand? They definitely won't be teaching that the new moon is the full moon. But that is another topic. But when you watch at this video, don't particularly know which event this was. Not really interested anyhow. But when you look at it, the grand entrance, the Lord himself, even when you look at the last Passover that they kept, which this video here was a clip that they added to advertise their Passover. I saw it on Facebook, and the caption was, you know, this year they're gonna bring in this year Passover, and they're gonna keep it from the week of April the 8th to the 15th or to the whatever 14th, or can't remember exactly which day. But when you look at their last Passover as well, when he came in on I think it was a white horse, and had the two Edomites at the side of him, and then that same grand entrance thing, you know, where he is the sole figure of the event, the main figure of the event. You know, they take away the event from being about the Lord to being about need. When you leave those events, you're not going to be talking about how the Lord was delivered us from Egypt, and you're going to be talking about need, grand entrance to the Passover. Who didn't see how that brother's suit was, and the horse, and this is what a leader should be like, and this and that, and all the bullshit that comes with it. But IUIC is not about Yahushai. IUIC is about Nathaniel 7, and he could try to dispute that all he want, but the posters is Nathaniel 7. The advertisement, Nathaniel 7. The Passover, the events, he is the central figure to it. It's not the Lord, which it's not supposed to be that way. Everything that is being done is supposed to be in remembrance or memorial of what the Lord did for us, or is going to do for us, or commanded us to do, or his prophecies, or him coming and take down, our enemies. It's supposed to be about the Lord, but instead they make it about him. Whoever is in his marketing team, his public relations team, makes it about him. That is why I could say that this man exalts himself. Meanwhile, we have men out there that preaching the truth, and we know that we are preaching the truth, and still hoping to be even counted part of that number, part of the elect. But this man who isn't teaching anything close to the truth, because Jesus Christ isn't anything close to the truth, this man is making himself as though he already know that he is going to be saved. With the WWE entrance, like he's some kind of wrestler, and people applauding him and screaming and all sorts of bullshit. When I read Mark 13, Mark 12 and verse 38, it says, "And he said unto them in his doctrine, beware of the scribes, which love to go in long clothing, and love salutations in the marketplaces." Yeah, they love that praise, they love that commendation. They love men to commend them, they love the compliments, they love the greetings, they love how people speak about them, which the Lord himself say, "Woe unto you if men speak well of you." The Lord himself said that. But let me read it. There's Luke, I think it's 6, verse 20. Verse 26. You know what? I'll read from verse 24. It says, "But woe unto you that are rich, for you have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, for you shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep." And that laugh represents the house of mirth. And IUIC is in the house of mirth. They acting as though they already attained. But it says, "Woe unto you that laugh now, for you shall mourn and weep." When you realize that the MOTB is the micro C hip, you're gonna mourn and weep. When they realize that Jesus that they've been praising, when they say Most High and Christ blessed, when they realize that the Jesus isn't working in the time of famine or in the time of Jacob's trouble, they're gonna mourn and weep. It says, "Woe unto you," the verse 26, which is my point. It says, "Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets." And the majority of Israel is on IUIC's back based on their doctrine and their presentations. It have nothing to do with them speaking the 100% truth. What they speak is a world-friendly doctrine. Jesus Christ, a man only supposed to be with one wife. You could line up. Majority of their stuff is things that you could already do in the world. So it's just like a transition from Christianity to being a Hebrew Israelite, except that you knowing that you are Israelite. That is the only difference. But the scripture says, "Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets." So that's supposed to be, that's supposed to raise eyebrows. But again, they're not gonna see it because they are blinded. 2/3 of you people are not gonna see it because the Lord didn't open up your eyes to see that these men are on folly. Going back to Mark 12 and verse 38. It says, "Beware of and he said unto them in his doctrine, beware of the scribes which love to go in long clothing, and love salutations in the marketplaces, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and the uppermost rooms at feasts, which devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers, these shall receive greater damnation." And I looked up the word, I looked up the term scribes. I don't have the internet now, but when I looked it up before on this same blue letter, I think the Greek word for it is grammatias. And when they're giving you the meaning of scribe and the description of them, they said that they would do pious acts in the public's eye for their praise, but they wouldn't do it based on genuinity. They would put on a show, just like the show that they put on, but when they did this march in the streets, and then you will have these knucklehead 2/3 come out and say that they love what they see the brothers united. This thing is not about brothers. This thing is not about black people uniting. This thing is about gathering the elect of the Lord, and the elect of the Lord is very few in number. It's not about uniting the whole of Israel and calling them back to the Lord, because number one, the Lord already prescribed, the Lord already foreordained that 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in that land, America, is going to be destroyed. So the whole nation can be saved, and the majority of the nation can be saved. It's actually the minority of the nation going to be saved. A handful. We read Matthew 23. And this video here, I don't know if I said it before, but this video here was the clip that they put to advertise, or to not to advertise, but to announce their Passover, or the feast or the weekend of unleavened bread for them, which is April 8th, which is actually the next new moon, which is something that he goes off on again, but is also the date that these Edomites, these astrologers said that they're gonna be a solar eclipse. I believe it's a solar eclipse. Which it's not coincident. It's not coincidental that they keep in their Passover at the same night that they're gonna bring in the solar event gonna take place, or the solar eclipse gonna take place. Which when you read about those eclipses and stuff, it said that there's a lot of sacrifices, there's a lot of bloodshed, there's a lot of left-hand works that takes place on that night. Witchcraft, sorcery. Esau using his CERN machine to check for any beings in his 4 dimension coming in and out of portals. It's not coincidental that the Lord made him keep his Passover on that same night. You understand? Everything is well ordered and instructed by the Lord. And that just goes to show that this man is not dealing with the right spirit. Understand? Matthew 23 and verse 1. It says, Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. And the scribes and Pharisees were the ones that would push the law. That's like how IUIC would push the law, but they wouldn't keep it. As I said, they would make a pretense of keeping the law, but inwardly they would, when they by themselves, when they're in the dark, they would do the most wicked things. You understand? Verse 4, it says, For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves would not move them with one of their fingers. With all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments. Where your fringe is at? Like when a chariot come in the last days, when the chariots come to deliver us, if we don't have on a garment with fringes, we're not going to be saved. That is how they make that fringes song, that you need those fringes when those chariots come in order to be lifted up. Verse 6, And love the uppermost rooms at feasts, and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the market, and to be called of men Rabbi, Rabbi. That is what Nathaniel 7 loves to be called. And I forgot to mention the last Passover where he came in on the white horse. They had this precept that talking about David, something with David and a horse. If I could find it after, I'll put it in the description of the video. But they put it as though he is David. They put the video and the precept together as though they would say that this man here is David. Bring this last precept here and close off with that. There's Proverbs 25 verse 6. It says, Put not for thyself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men, for better it is that it be said unto thee, Come up hither, than thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince whom thine eyes have seen. In other words, as according to the first precept I read, do not exalt yourself. Better you just say, nah, I don't deserve that, and the Lord grant it, than to puff up your chest and say, I deserve this, and I deserve to be the king, and I deserve this, and people should call me this, and people should call me that. And the Lord say, well, who the fuck is this man? Get rid of he not even gonna be saved. Who is this man? We read that precept again. Proverbs 25 and 7. It says, For better it is that it be said unto thee, Come up hither, than that thou shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince whom thine eyes have seen. You know, so with that, I want to give all praises and honor and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of great mills that surely do well. Peace and blessings unto the Akim, the four corners of this world. Until next time, this is your brother, Matana, saying Shalom.